Hello everybody and welcome back to the No More Heroes walkthrough. It's time for more extras. This time we're in for quite a hell of a slog, because we're going to go through every single side job available in Santa Destroy. Oh yeah. So the reason that I pretty much did not go anywhere near the place during the main body of the walkthrough is because I was going to do a long, lovely video showing everything all at once. That way I just wouldn't have to put up with padding out the story with this useless rubbish. And anyway, it fits better as an extra, because I can cut and cut and cut all the way through and it's fine. We are also going to be doing a very similar run through all of the assassination gigs, although that will take 2 parts instead of 1 because there's just so much more of them to get through. But yeah, this should hopefully be fun because, well, I say it should hopefully be fun, really, I wouldn't hold your breath. Because there is a reason that I say that this is easily the most tedious part of No More Heroes. Especially considering, right at the start of the game, the only thing you have available to you is Coconut Collector.
This job is for you, don't forget.
And yeah, you have to do Coconut Collector numerous times to or at least you have to get a gold rank in Coconut Collector to unlock the ability to do any assassination gigs, and then you're only given very specific assassination gigs. And yeah, so it's a pain. Now, the job centre is run by Keita Sakai.
3, 2,
and
1.
I have no idea who this guy is. He is most definitely a guest voice. I think he must just be one of Suda51's friends. And that certainly wouldn't be out of the question, considering, you know, Masked is. And I believe that under in the credits, he's classified as friend casting, which is quite nice, really. And seeing as I am trying very hard to not talk about Coconut Collector, I suppose I really should talk about what this whole minigame is about. It's basically punch the trees. I believe you can also perform a rolling sobat into them to knock all of the trees down at once, and then you can pick up to 3 coconuts at once, and then you've got to waddle over and drop them off on the counter. It's an incredibly easy minigame, it's also incredibly tedious. So yeah, at least the music's fun and funky. Well, time limit is 3 minutes, you get 2,000 LB dollars for every single delivery, and it is available right at the start of the game, obviously. And that basically covers that. So I suppose I should talk about something else. Well, I don't think I've spoken about Bishop, who is Travis's friend at the video store. Beefhead. Yeah. And he's also the guy who is willing to drive the Spell Tiger to us, no matter where we are, or where the Spell Tiger is, which is completely and utterly ridiculous. Now, Bishop, well, his last name is Shidux or Shidu. I have no idea what that means, but oh well. But he is voiced by Matthew Mercer, which is actually insanely good casting, considering how minor a role it is. Most people would recognise Matthew Mercer as Levi in Attack on Titan, Kiritsugu Emiya in Fate/Zero, Jotaro Kujo in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders, but he's also one of those stupidly prolific voice actors. Not the most prolific, but certainly quite prolific. and I believe that the main things that I recognise him as is Crom in Fire Emblem Awakening. He's pretty awesome in that, but he's been in a number of other things, and he's always been quite good. So, oh gosh, he's Kanji Tatsumi in the last half-ish of the Persona 4 the animation, as well as in Persona 4 Arena Ultimax and Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth. He voices some more characters in No More Heroes Desperate Struggle, Skelter Helter, he voices Bishop again, and Zarko Fat. He's also the voice of Anton Hertzen in Professor Layton and Pandora's Box / The Diabolical Box, and Henry Lador in Professor Layton and The Miracle Mask. He's also the voice of Leon S. Kennedy in Resident Evil 6, although I don't think he's actually the voice of Leon in earlier titles, which is weird. He is the voice of Alvin in Tales of Xillia. He is Walter in Shin Megami Tensei 4. He is... oh god, he's Zwei in Soul Calibur 5, and I think that pretty much covers some of the way. He's also Robin in Batman Arkham Knight. He's been in other stuff as well, but you can go doing your hunting. Because we are in our next minigame, lawn mowing! Exciting, isn't it? Now, with lawn mowing, it's just cut as much grass as you possibly can inside the required area within the time limit. I believe in total there's... I think it's 100 acres? Good luck if you can get to that, it's nigh on impossible. But I believe you get a gold rank after something like 90, or maybe 80-ish. Either way, it's really clunky, and because you turn using the motion control on the Wiimote, but you have to kind of also move forward and backwards, and oh, it's horrible. Time limit is 2 minutes. You get 300 LB dollars for each acre cut, so it's not exactly brilliant paying minigame. And really the only reason you're going to want to do this is to get more assassination gigs. Also, yay, I got over 90! Was not expecting to be able to do that. I mean, technically, it's not too bad if you know what you're doing, but it's... it can just get really, really painful, because the things get really sparse, because you aren't necessarily able to follow straight, easy lines. What I actually find hilarious is that Suda51 would then go on to go back to lawn mowing as a minigame in Lollipop Chainsaw, except it's not quite lawn mowing, it's more zombie mowing. And you're in a big combine harvester and you just sort of obliterate everything to the wonderful strains of "You spin me right round, baby, right round like a record, baby, right round, round, round." It's beautifully bonkers. And if there's one thing that I will certainly say that Lollipop Chainsaw does better than No More Heroes, it's its licensed soundtrack. Because "You Spin Me Right Round", Lollipop, that's a good one. "Oh Mickey, you're so fine, you're so blind, you blow my mind, hey Mickey", that's another good one that's in there. There's quite a few others as well, and it's always awesome when you hear licensed music like that used in a cool and interesting way. Not as David Cage uses it in the likes of Indigo Prophecy / Fahrenheit, whatever the numbers are. Yeah, that's a bad instance of licensed music being used, but I think Suda 51 does quite well at using it properly. But we are now in Garbage Collection. Don't worry about doing poorly, because pretty much the garbage will continue to respawn. So if it looks like you're running out of anything, just run about a little bit. You'll easily find more. Got 3 minutes to do this in, and you get 1,000 LB dollars for each piece of garbage. Garbage? Garbage. The reason I'm mangling this is because we don't call things garbage in the UK, we call it rubbish. Sometimes trash, although that's really more than referring to grubby people. People that we don't really like. It's sort of a class thing. It's like the upper classes would call someone who is slutty trash. I guess is the best way of describing it if you don't know how it's used in the UK. Obviously, I think it is still used for rubbish, but pretty much all the time we just say rubbish or bins, because it's not take out the trash or take out the garbage, it's just take out the bins, because that clearly makes sense. Now, as Coconut Collector unlocks after Death Metal, Lawn Mowing unlocks after beating Dr. Peace, and Garbage Collection unlocks after beating Shinobu. And pretty much that follows down all the way to the end. So the next mission unlocks after Destroy Man, then Holly Summers, then Let's Shake, then Harvey, Moisevich, Valadarsky, then Speedbuster, and then Bad Girl. And pretty much the way that you should always view these side jobs is as a view to the assassination gigs. Because that's really all they're here for. I believe that you can only get the assassination gigs if you get a gold ranking on each of these, which is a bit of a pain, but it is possible. And as you will see throughout, I'm actually going to do surprisingly well at doing this. And to be perfectly honest, on quite a few of the side jobs, it's not entirely difficult. Like on the Garbage Collector, you had to get, I think it was over 40. Actually, it might have only been get over 25. But you are able to get all the way up to 40, so you are in absolutely no worry whatsoever about getting it. Which is bonkers, really. And here we are at the gas station. We've got 3 minutes, 2,000 LB dollars for each car filled up, and yeah, it's ridiculously easy. I think you have to get 20 cars to get the gold rank. And yeah, the only thing that you're going to find ever so slightly challenging is the tedium. Because this is literally just press and hold B for a bit, let go. Press and hold B for a bit, let go. Press and hold B for a bit, let go. It's literally just the same action for 3 minutes. And there's nothing fun about it. Which is ever so slightly depressing. It's also not particularly great pay. Although saying that, I suppose if you get 20 cars, it's like 40,000 LB dollars. Could be worse. So, I feel I should probably point out which jobs unlock which assassination gigs. Doing Coconut Collector unlocks you Pizza Butt, Snake Hall, yes, then Lawn Mowing unlocks Hooligans Parade and Baseball Battle, Garbage Collection unlocks Pizza Butt Returns and Swordmaster, Gas Stand unlocks Deathmatch 100 and Baseball Battle Round 2, as well as Dark Side Battle. Then the next mission unlocks Tiger Hall and Pizza Butt the Finale. The one after that unlocks Pro Wrestling Contest, Underground, Baseball Battle Round 3. The one after that unlocks Extreme Fight, which is the one that I absolutely love and is my main go-to money source. Then it also unlocks Armed Hoods. The one after that unlocks Speedjack, Gamble Fight, and the one after that unlocks Single Strike and Battle Killing Center. I think that's everything. Yep. And oh good grief, I've still got another 20 minutes left of this. But, as you can see, these aren't necessarily difficult. Having said that, we're about to move on to some of the more difficult jobs. Because, yeah, two of them are just not pleasant. One of them being this one. Minesweeping. Basically, the whole thing is remove mines from the beach using a metal detector, which is not particularly clear of anything. And it is possible to fail this by getting hit, I think it's 3 times.
3, 2, 1.
And yeah, it's not fun. You get 2,000 LB dollars for each mine removed, and 3 minutes to do it in. I believe to get the gold rank you need to destroy 10 mines, and I have to say this is redonkulously challenging. It's easily one of the most difficult gold medals to get. At least on the side jobs. If you can't get the gold medals on these, then there is no way in hell you'd be able to get the gold medals on some of the assassination missions, because those are hard! Now, an easy way to tell when there is a bomb to, well, a mine to pick up, is it will direct you to say, press A, and you will then destroy one. But the point at which that turns up can not, well, you might not spot it until it's too late. The other thing is that because it's completely random as to where the mines will be, it's ridiculously easy to not be able to find any at all. So, this is another job where it's just get it done and get it done quickly and then just never look back. Otherwise, you're just going to be wasting your time. Now, as we continue destroying mines, doing minesweeping, you get it because they're funny, because Minesweeper. Returning to Keita Sakai, so he wears a Gongs sweatshirt, which is a Fire Pro Wrestling reference. Basically, it's a long-running professional wrestling video game which originates in Japan. Started in '99 by Human Entertainment and continued by Spike in 2000. latest game being Fire Pro Wrestling on the Xbox 360 in 2012. And unlike most other pro wrestling games, they're not licensed by any major professional wrestling promotion, but do feature the likenesses of real-life wrestlers, but under different names. And they've pretty much all been exclusive to Japan, although some of the games have seen release in North America. Basically, the gongs thing is the in-game representation of the real-life wrestling promotion Rings, as well, which is Fighting Network Rings, which is a Japanese combat sport promotion, which has gone through various phases, because the gongs is written in the same kind of capitalized red lettering. Basically, Suda51 really likes wrestling and wants you to know. If I recall correctly, actually started making wrestling games, or at least that was what got him into things. It's also basically where you get all of the Lucha Libre stuff. And, oh, that's interesting. Apparently Suda51 started working as an undertaker, so I guess that kind of shows and explains to everyone why he is so morbidly obsessed with death and killing people and assassins and zombies and all that jazz.
3, 2, 1.
Now, graffiti cleaning is both a sort of easy minigame if you have Memory of Child, that is, but it can also be slightly dodgy, because you've got to run around quite a big stretch of Santa Destroy to clean these walls, and sometimes the motion controls won't quite recognise what you're doing. And if you don't have a decent route, then trust me, you are going to screw yourself over dramatically. You have 3 minutes to do this, and you get 2,000 LB dollars for each wall cleaned. And I can't remember what the gold award for this is, but it's certainly quite challenging. Especially because also the minimap isn't necessarily completely clear as to where the things, well, where the walls are, which side of the road, etc. So it's very easy to get lost. Thankfully, I did remarkably well on this run, so I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, there are some seriously dull mini-games in the side jobs area. Like, I think arguably one of the most fun ones is right at the end. There's an adorable one coming up, but yeah, they're mostly just sometimes amusing time wasters that get you money. Either way, it's something that I am repeatedly glad about that they removed. They did still have a form of side jobs in No More Heroes 2, but they were not required to progress the story at all. Which, yeah, makes much more sense. And I believe that I was cutting it incredibly fine there to get my gold medal. So fine. And as with...
Customer,
Oh, okay. Sometimes I think with the gold,
trusty.
or it might just be getting the gold medals unlocks you free fights.
Just one never punch out.
Well, free fights as well. Now, slightly embarrassing story. I was going to show off a free fight. I believe I may have mentioned this story before, but I'm not 100% sure, so I'll just go with it. Yeah, kinda forgot. Which is embarrassing, but there is one assassination gig, which is basically like a free fight. So that will be a nice representation of what that would be. But yeah, I missed it, so you will not be seeing a free fight. Anyway, we have Meow Meow, Capture the Escaped Cats, which is absolutely adorable. Especially because I don't know if it's the cats, or whether it's Travis trying to connect with the cats, going meow and meow. Or whether, yeah, but just the meow is just hilarious. But also the really kind of like adorable cat meow, where they're just going meow. It's just adorable. It can get slightly frustrating because sometimes the motion controls don't work, and the buttons are all slightly different, and you're doing this for 3 minutes, which can get slightly frustrating. But I can't help but just go, oh, whenever I see this or play it, so I can't help it. You get 3,000 LB dollars for each cat found, which is nice. I think you have to get over 10 for the gold. So please don't quote me on that, because I am absolutely terrible at this. But having said that, this is a reasonably easy minigame. The worst of all of them is yet to come. Oh my good God, is the worst of them yet to come. Also, as I mentioned with... well, when I was going on about Heroes Paradise, there were some side jobs that didn't make it into this version of the game. Missions like stamping and human bowling, and they were scrapped. But according to the No More Heroes wiki, at least, those were reintegrated, or at least the people bowling was reintegrated into the game, along with the signalling, sign spinning, kitty race and Buster Coconut. But to be perfectly honest, seeing as you're going to be wanting to spend as little time in these things as possible, having more of them doesn't really fill me with much excitement. Then again, they might be incredibly fun. So, who am I to judge? And now, oh god, it's time for easily the worst side job in the entire game, Scorpion Extermination. So, what does this job want you to do? Pick up scorpions and put them in your basket. Is this easy? No. Because you have got to be careful when running up to these guys. Then press A and flip the Wiimote up to put them into your basket. However, if you get... well, if you step on one of them, then you will become poisoned, and you have a set amount of time to get back to our job giver friend here to get the serum to heal you. Now, depending on the type of scorpion that attacks you, you will have less time. I believe it's blue scorpions are the strongest, and they're huge. And you have a very small amount of time to then run. But, oh my good god. This is so horrible. It's 3,000 LB dollars for each scorpion, 3 minutes, and I can't remember exactly the total that you need to get gold rank, but it's just not worth it. The whole thing's just so tedious. It's... oh my good god, no. I mean, I suppose the music's kind of chirpy, but it doesn't make me want to ever come back to doing this, ever. I hate this mission that much, and I think pretty much every single person who has played No More Heroes, who has played this mission, hates it with every inch of their being, or at least some of their beings. I'm just sure that some people hate it far more than others. It's just that bad. It's also because it's difficult to spot the scorpions, sometimes because they are so small, and sometimes so far away. And because they're sometimes hiding in the grass as well, it's just like, what do you want me to do? It's just point blank unfair. Now, as you will see, I believe, as with the graffiti cleaning and the mine sweeping, this is the first time I've ever successfully beaten this mission with a gold rank. In fact, I think this is technically going to be the first time I've ever beaten this mission, because I remember when I first played the game, I did it, well, started it, got hit by a scorpion, I think I failed to make it back, and then obviously was booted out to the main thing, and I was like, oh. Yeah, there's no way I'm doing that again. So... yeah. I'm quite proud of myself that I managed to overcome that and exterminate 20 scorpions, which is pretty damn good, and get a gold rank, which is just like, ah, yes! And there we go. And that basically confirms what my brain was struggling to cope with, is that if you beat the mission, then you get the assassination gigs, if you get the gold rank, then you get the free fight. That's how it works. But to round off our wonderful 35 minutes of side jobs, it's time for the bike jump. Basically, it does what it says on the tin. Ride the Spell Tiger to jumping point and fly as far as possible. You have 3 minutes to get there and make the jump, and you get paid pretty much for the distance that you make. And really, this isn't that difficult, you just need to make sure that you actually jump. If you leave that jump too late, then you will fall off and get 0 yards. And, well, that's fun for nobody. You want to make sure that you have enough boost, and I believe it's that you want to technically start boosting as soon as you hit the pavement-like structure to get the furthest possible distance, which is something like 2,600. Whatever I got there, but anyway, we're done. Thank God. Time to move on to the assassination gigs. Let's do this.